Okay, hey, what's up, you guys? So, I wanted to talk to you to catch you up on the Lionsgate portal countdown. I know I've been like missing in action, but I've been super busy, y'all, which is why I'm working in my robe today. I have 3 clients a day, and I've been like very super busy. And so I do not want y'all to miss out though on this portal energy. It's already in effect, and you should be feeling it already. And so we stopped at day 5 and now we're on day 9. Okay. So day 5 was the last day where you had to call in your divine team of angels. And hopefully you know what angels to work with. You know who what angels is on your team. If you don't, you can reach out to get a scan. My scans are only $40 if you want to get a scan and you want to see certain things and things of that sort. Okay, I didn't use no filter today. I was like, I don't feel like that and all that. It only record 3 minutes. I gotta keep stopping and all of that. I'm just like, I'm just gonna record this video. I did do my facial skincare this morning, but anywho, so yeah, just had to drop that nugget. And then the next thing is yeah, so calling your divine team and your angel team at this time. This the next thing is for day 6 is to speak your divine pricing out loud. Each and every one of us have a divine pricing, and we have a pricing of where we start at. When I first started getting into tarot reading and oracle reading, and I started my business, my readings used to be $25. They used to be $25. I was just starting out, and they used to be $25, and now they're 100, and now they're 100, and they may go up again after the Lionsgate portal. But yeah, and it's because of so much that I bring now to the readings. They're not just regular tarot readings. I read from the Akashic along with the tarot, and so the tarot is really good, but it's more like it's not the meat and potatoes. Like the meat and potatoes is the Akashic. The vegetables is probably like the tarot, kind of sort of speak, I guess you can see. But we need our vegetables, I guess, right? Because y'all love tarot readings. So you want to understand what your divine pricing is. And your divine pricing could be in any number. That's another thing. If you're not sure what your divine pricing is, you can get a scan from me as well to check and see what your divine pricing is. That's certainly up to you as well. Okay. Day 7. Okay. Because I got other things I want to talk to you about in this video. So I'm going to start off first with the Lionsgate portion, and then I'm going to go into my next part of this actual video or plan that I have. And this is just off the dome. I'm just going to be chatting with y'all on the next part. But the next one is day 7. Day 7 is take action on something you've delayed. Why have you been delaying your calling? Why have you been delaying your purpose? Why have you been delaying your mission? So the next thing is to take action on something that you have been delaying. Okay, that's for day 7. So you got a little bit of a catch up work to do over the weekend. The next one is going to be day 8, mirror work. I am worthy of overflow. So I want you to spend time this weekend in the mirror. I am worthy of overflow. I am worthy of overflow. I am worthy of overflow. I want you to spend time in the mirror, and I want you to tell that to yourself. I am worthy of overflow. Okay? And shout out to all my Leos. Happy birthday. Okay? The next one for day 9 is journaling. Journaling. How would your wealth, how would your wealthy self move? This is day 9. This is the actual day that you're going to actually do that. So you got about 4 things you need to do over the weekend. Okay. One is understand what your divine pricing is, and that's per hour. Okay. Per hour. What is your divine pricing? 2, take action on something that you've been putting off delaying. Maybe it's going live. Maybe you want to post your product. Maybe you want to post a video. The next one is mirror work. I am wealthy. I am worthy of overflow. I am worthy of overflow. And then the last one, how would your wealthy self move? If you was wealthy, how would you move? What would you do? You know, would you have a gym routine, a morning routine, a night routine? You know, I like to set my routine up, and I'm going to be honest with you how I move. I set my routine up to do feminine care in the morning and masculine energy in the evening, afternoon, I guess you could say. The evening, I try to like wind down and just relax a little bit. But in the morning, I like tea. I like to take my time getting up. I like to rub on my stomach. I like to do my affirmations. I like to, be cozy in my robe in the morning before I actually get up and get dressed. And then it's busy mode, it's masculine energy mode. So that's how I see my wealthy self moving. I would love to maybe get up earlier. I would love to try to get up earlier, but my workload has been so heavy that I've been going to bed a little late, like around 12. But I would love to get in the bed maybe like 8, 9 o'clock, wake up at 5. Um, and, I'm going to manifest that. Okay. And then, yeah, I would like to get up more earlier so I can have more time with myself in the morning. Um, my client my client day usually start around 10, 11 o'clock, depending on what day it is. And so, yeah, I would like to have a more earlier morning start so I can spend more time with myself. Right now, I'm currently at 2 hours, and it just don't seem like it's enough. Like, it just feel like I need more time. Like maybe 4 hours. Maybe if I get up at 5, 6, I could, really get that prayer, meditation, just stillness, and it just seems like I'm still rushing. Like it literally takes me like a 45 minutes to an hour just to get up and wash my face and wash up and do all of that stuff. And so there go 1 hour right there. And then I may have 1 hour of stillness, in the bed and stuff like that. But I would really like to implement more dedication and devotion to prayer and meditation early in the morning versus in the afternoon, because I do it in the afternoon. In between clients, I'll take like an hour nap and I'll meditate and stuff before I take my nap. But I want to do that in the morning. So that's something how I would really like to focus or refocus my my wealthy schedule, if you would want to say. So I want to talk to y'all about wealth. I want to talk to you about wealth. Okay, that's our Lionsgate portal information. Please, before we get on to the wealth topic, please make sure that you sign up for the Lionsgate portal activation. I have one session on the 7th and I have one session on the 8th. So if nobody don't sign up, everybody think it's been signed up for the first session. So if nobody don't sign up for the second session, I'm gonna cancel it. But yeah, I have one in the evening at 8:08 a.m. p.m. on the 7th, and then 8:08 a.m. on the 8th. Okay, so you can pick and choose which one you want to sign up for. Okay, hold on. Okay, I had to get a drink of my orange juice. I'm like, I had to get a little drink of my orange juice. Um, oh yeah, so that's that for the Lionsgate. If you want to do the Lionsgate activation personally with me, we do it personally together. We go through the activation and stuff like that. You've cleared out all your contracts. You cleared out a lot of karmic cycles and stuff like that, and you're ready to like actually start and step fully into your portal. Then we can do a Lionsgate activation, and that's $88. And I love the number 88. It's not a day that don't go by that I don't see the number 88. I see it every single day. I seen it today right before I got on this live. I was watching somebody's live, and they had 88 people in the live. So I always see the number 88. Okay, so let's talk about wealth and really hone in and talk about and transition. How do you shift from poverty to wealth? Um, that's like the thing that I'm in that season Okay. How to shift from poverty, okay, to wealth. All right. Um, a lot of us don't understand that poverty is survival, right? Poverty and poverty mindset is usually like a survival thing. I don't like when my edges are out. And I was like, I don't understand what to really like do with my hair right now. I like it short, and it's very easy to do when it's short. But I also like weaves and stuff and wigs and stuff too. So I like that stuff. I just don't like to wear it all the time. But anywho, so how do you shift from poverty to wealth? So poverty, you have to understand, is something that is a mindset. It's a mindset that programmed you into survival. And what a lot of people don't realize is that they live in poverty codes and poverty contracts. And these poverty codes and contracts come from either ancestral vows, you could have had past life vows to poverty. If you're in demonic contracts with spirits like mammon or inverted wealth spirits, karmic contracts who take you and financially abuse you and drain you of your financial wealth as well too. And then also religious cult programming where they teach you that money is evil, things of that sort. These are all things that these are all things that keep people in poverty that they don't realize. Hold on a second, my thing fell out. That they don't realize that they're actually stuck. They're stuck. A lot of people come to me, and when I, scan and check their records and stuff like that, their Akashic records, they are pretty much in these contracts. And I'm talking about these contracts are old. They're like from old, way back, like the 1400s and the night, and the 1700s and the 1300s. These are old vows and contracts that stuck with their soul that they never closed out. And so I want you to understand like where poverty comes from. Where does poverty actually come from? Poverty comes from negligence. Okay, negligence in regards to the programming. And so what that means is that is sometimes it could be parents, it could be inherited, it could be from my family. Because I'm gonna be honest, my parents never taught me anything about money. They didn't teach me anything about money. They didn't teach me anything about investments. They didn't show me anything about really about money. They didn't do any of that. I learned at a very young age that you needed money to want things. And so at the age of 16, I made a vow to overwork myself. I went into a contract of overworking, which is a martyrdom contract of overworking, self pleasing, servitude contract. And so I made a contract at a very young age to say, I'm going to work, and I'm not going to ask anybody for anything. And I had a job at 16. I was working at a medical office as an assistant at the age of 16. He let us come and work. I'll never forget, it was Dr. Salzman. It was Dr. Salzman, and he paid under the table and things of that sort. And then I had like a piece of job at 16 because I remember at one point, I wanted these sneakers. I'll never forget them. They was like Fila sneakers. They were white with gold and written in them. And I really wasn't a sneaker person. I loved shoes at the time. I'm a big shoe person. Um, I really don't have a lot of pair of sneakers. I don't. I probably got like 4 pair of sneakers. And I got a bunch of shoes. I love heels. I love shoes. And so I wanted these Fila sneakers when I was younger. And my dad told me no. He was like, no. I was like, why can't I give them, like, they was only like $50, y'all. I'll never forget the moment. And it was like only $50 and stuff. And so I was like, oh, you telling me no? And so I didn't like that, and I'm a Leo, and he just like basically shut my little ego down, okay? And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna work for what I want. I'm gonna put in the work and stuff like that for what I want. And that's what I did. And so at that moment, I didn't know that I was making a vow to poverty. I didn't know that I was inadvertently, unconsciously making a vow to poverty by telling myself that. A lot of people think that, oh, you're going to go out and get it and you're going to be ambitious to get something. Don't know that they're putting themselves in contracts or vows in spirits of poverty. And you're like, well, Tiffany, well, how is that? Because you didn't create it through God. You didn't build a foundation with God to go after and do certain things or move a certain way. I didn't put God in the forefront of my mind when I said that to myself. I didn't say, God, can you please give me these shoes or make a way, or, how can I build wealth so that I can have the things that I want? I didn't think like that. My programming didn't think like that. My programming was not to even think it. Like, I didn't even have God in the forefront of my mind at the time. And at the time, I was religious, very religious. I didn't even have God at the forefront of my mind. It was just like, get a job, go after what you want, do and go after what you want. I'm just like, you know. So at that moment, chat, I literally was working every single stop of my life. I was hustling, burnt out, like just working, working, working. And I wasn't really that burnt out because I was still young and I'm a Leo. I got a lot of fire, I got a lot of passion. Now I'm probably kind of like it's like catching up to me now. And God keep telling me to rest, and I am going to do that next week. I finally have the financial ability to be able to take 3 days off and rest. Okay. But God did not, um, he just let me rock out. He just let me rock out. He did not intervene. And so I went from having like a job, and then I got into a relationship at 17 where I worked in that relationship. I didn't get what like he was a provider, but it wasn't still enough for me to not work, you know? And so that was another thing, And so I still had upkept a job. I was going after for jobs bigger than that. Now I'm like, okay, I want to make $50,000 a year. So I went to school. I worked. I worked at colleges and hospitals. That's my background. I have a medical background. And then I worked so hard, and I bought my first house. I sold waters and then was working. I tried to, start every business. I was like, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I wanted to have a business. All of this time running around, running around, running around, and living in my own ego and living in um, my own world. I was not living in God's world. I was not co-creating with God. I never had God in the forefront. And I'm religious. And I'm religious. I was never taught to understand what spiritual wealth meant, what it meant to actually create with God. I was never taught that until now. Like literally until now, and I'm 44. I'm about to be 44. And all of my life, I was running on smoking shrooms, and I just didn't understand how, like, I did not. I'm like, it's just mind blowing. And so I made a vow to poverty at a very, very young age. And now God is shifting me out of that because now I had to reseal my energy, reseal my covenant and my soul with God. And now I have to listen to divine instructions before I do things. And so I had to go in. I went through a process this last few months, probably the last 4 months, of canceling vows of poverty. You know, I would feel bad for going, and this is another sign of poverty. You feel bad for spending your money. You know, you emotionally spend, but then you feel bad for spending money. Like, how does spending money? I was like literally on a psychotic coaster. It's like I'm spending money. I have the money. God bless me with the money, and it'll come back 10 times fold. But I feel bad for spending it. That's a vow of poverty. It feel good, but then I feel bad for doing it. Even when you're sleeping with someone and you have sex with them, you feel good having sex in the moment, but then afterwards you feel bad. There's something not right with that. And so I began to work on canceling out my contracts. I was writing my vault scrolls, contract cancellations. I mean, I'm in here every night. I got 2 books full. I'm in here every night writing. Every night writing, crying at the on top of that. On top of writing, I'm crying. I'm in the car crying. You know, my soul went through a whole like releasing phase. And so after that of canceling, I went through like this cancellation phase. Then I went through this activation phase. And you go through an activation phase of reclaiming back your authority, reclaiming back what was stolen from you. And so I had to open my vault and ask God to restore me, restore what was stolen. And that's when I began to began to feel my angels move in a different way that I've never felt before. And so I had to learn how to instruct my angels with provision. I had to know what provision meant. So it was just a lot of things. So I want to give you some steps on how to shift from poverty to wealth the Akashic way. And the first one is that this isn't just mindset. This is contract work, cancellation, activation, and energetic reprogramming. This is reprogramming from the soul level. Um, and I didn't really fully understand this. And you know what really really where like the light bulb came on and it kicked in is when I was on the phone with my PayPal. I was on the phone with my PayPal representative, and you know they started holding my money because it was too many like trade sales and stuff like that. So now they're starting to hold my money because they like, wait a minute, why are you getting all these transactions? And so I'm on the phone with the lady. I'm like, yeah, you know, I reached the threshold on my account and now they're holding my money. You know, is there any way you could, you know, raise my threshold on my account? And so she was like, I see that. I see in the last few months, your sales really increased. Like, what did you do different? Like, may I ask what you did different? Like, did you market more? Did you post more? Like, what did you do different? And I thought in my head and I said, I didn't do anything. And then I thought, and then something came across my head, and it was just like it was just God. It was God. And I said, lady, I just did a lot of like contract work, contract clearing work, and I'm like, it was just God. My kids are coming in, and I hope they're not going to be loud. If they are, I'm gonna pause until I'm recording. And I was like, it was just God. You know, I didn't have a secret recipe. I didn't have a marketed formula. I just be in the flow of my creativity, and God just blessed me through my creativity. And so she was just like, wow. So she started looking on my website. She started going to my website. She's looking at my website. She's like, wow, you're so beautiful. And she's like, you look so beautiful. And she just started asking me about my service and stuff like that. And I'm telling her, she was like, wow, like I never thought about that. I said, yeah, I kind of like, a lot of people cut the grass and they remove things out of their life or people out their life, but I root the grass up. I take the grass out from the root and I make your soil replenish again so you could plant healthy seeds into that soil and not bad seeds. You ever try to grow something from bad seeds? It just doesn't work. So that's when it hit me, right? So I want to give you some steps on how, because I got to get ready for a client. And I want to give you some steps on how you can go from poverty to wealth. The first one is identify the source of your poverty codes. These usually stem, like I said before, from ancestral contracts, where maybe you had contracts of survival, slavery, or servitude, past life vow poverty. Maybe you was in priesthood, a healer path, or monastic path. Demonic contracts with mammon or inverted wealth spirits will block your wealth. Karmic contract with takers or financial abusive relationships, people who just drain you and siphon out of your root chakra. Religious guilt program, money is evil, the meek must suffer. Okay? Ask, where did my soul first agree to stay broke to stay safe? This reveals the origin of your contract. Where did my soul first agree to stay broke to stay safe? And that was me. I think I was 14 years old. Okay? The next thing is you want to cancel the contracts and vows. You want to cancel the contracts and vows. So declare boldly and say and speak, I cancel every vow of poverty, scarcity, and financial martyrdoms from this life and all others. I cancel every vow of poverty, scarcity, and financial martyrdom from this life and all others. I revoke all contracts with the spirit of mammon, false humility, and inherited struggles. I revoke all contracts with the spirit of mammon, false humility, and inherited struggles. I now align. I align now to the vaults of heaven. I'm sorry. I align now to the vaults of heaven, the wealth of my scrolls, and the divine inheritance. I align now to the vaults of heaven and the wealth of my scrolls and divine inheritance. Or ask me to write you a full vault scroll or contract cancellation scroll for wealth, okay, which I'll be excited to do. But if you need me to write a personalized scroll for you or a contract cancellation for you, I'll be happy to do that. Or you could purchase it in my 15 sovereignty scrolls PDF file. Okay, that's on my website. The next thing is the third step is you want to activate your wealth vaults. Activate your wealth vault. Once the contracts are clear, you must claim the authority over your divine supply line. Open my vault, oh God, restore what was stolen. And this is going to connect you to 4 different types of energies. 1, your galactic vault access. 2, your earth grid financial anchors, money portals where you were meant to be wealthy. You got to activate that. 3, your soul led business blueprint. I do offer a service that helps you to understand what your soul led business blueprint is. And 4, your angelic provision assignment. Your wealth angels start to move. Okay. The next one, number 4, is speak to your angels like the CEO. Speak to your angels like the CEO. Your angels need instructions. Okay? You must instruct your provision angels daily. They are not just hanging around for the vibes, they work under divine command. So here's an example of how you can speak to your angels. Angels assigned to my provision, go forth and open every path for the flow of wealth. Remove every block, expose every leak. Draw and align clients, contracts, ideas, and collaborations. I authorize divine overflow, not barely enough. I command wealth to find me now. Okay. Step 5, which is the last step, you're going to embody the new frequency. Wealth is not just money, it's a vibration, a decision, and a spiritual maturity level. And so you have to ask yourself, am I dressing or speaking and moving like a spiritually wealthy woman? Am I dressing, moving, and speaking like a spiritually wealthy woman? A lot of people think it's okay to just look and move and speak a certain way, and it doesn't resonate an ambience of wealth. You know, it doesn't say old money energy. You want old money energy. Okay? Am I building systems that wealth can actually flow through? You're not just going to do this work and think that wealth is just going to pop out of nowhere, or you're suddenly going to, increase in something. No, you have to build up those wealth systems and then wealth containers in order for it to flow in. So I have investments. I do investments. I have my business. My business has different streams of income. I have candles. I have services. I'm online. I'm a content creator. So there's different types of containers that my wealth can come through. Okay, it needs something to come through. The next one is, am I receiving or still hustling like I'm trying to prove I am worthy? Am I receiving or still hustling like I'm trying to prove I am worthy? Wealth requires receiving without guilt and investing without fear. And so I also learned that I also learned rest too. Okay. Rest brings in the wealth as well too. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are not operating in guilt. You want to make sure you're not operating in fear. That's another thing as well too. Okay. So here's a bonus. I want to give you a bonus that to seal this role. Okay. Say it. Say this or add it to your rituals. That's certainly fine. However you do. Let my name be written in the book of overflow. Let my name be written in the book of overflow. Okay. Let my soul walk only on the path of aligned wealth. Let my soul only walk on the path of aligned wealth. Let my scroll carry no more contracts of lack, fear, or begging. Constantly work your scrolls. This is the programming that's in your subconscious mind, the programming that's in your DNA. That's your scroll. So you want to let your scroll carry no more contracts of lack, fear, or begging. We're not begging, we're not in lack, and we're not in fear. Okay? The next one is, I walk now in kingdom wealth, and it is so. I walk now in the kingdom of wealth, and it is so. I love you guys. If you would like more services from me, my website is below. It's www.seventhharmonyplace.com. And there you will be able to see where I can help you soul decode your contracts, cancel your contracts, get you on your wealth and highest timeline, go through your activations. If you need chakra cleanses, if you just want a general personal reading and you say, Tiffany, I have some questions about some things and I need to get them answered, I'm available for that as well too. I will be on a break Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll be returning back Thursday and Friday. Yeah, so I'm going to go on like a recalibration pause, okay? So I won't be doing anything for 3 days and I'm going to stick to it. I can do it. I may even try to add my fasting in because I normally do my fasting on the first of the month, but I think I'm going to do it those 3 days. That way I'll get it out the way. And yeah, so I'm also coming out with a new candle line as well too. These are my new candle jars. They're so pretty. Now this jar has something in it. My daughter had put something in it. She put crystals and something in it. But these are the new jars and stuff like that. I didn't feel like opening up the boxes down there. But these are going to be the new Codex jars. And these Codex jars are, there's going to be 5 of them. The first one is going to be the Wealth Vault. And it's going to be the Wealth Vault Stroll. You're going to get a stroll in the candle with it. The next one is going to be Ancestral Code Breaker. Sacred Love, Align with Me. So those of you who are trying to align with Sacred Love, Divine Love, Counterpart, Twin Flame, that's going to be that candle for that. Hex and Magic Be Going, Hex and Magic Be Going, and Chakra Cleanse. All of these candles will be activated. They will be activated and programmed by me to do whatever specific that the candle flame is to burn for. Okay, so they are coded candles, ritual candles. They're not spell candles, but they're ritual candles. Okay. So I love you guys. Have a beautiful and blessed, wonderful day. Peace and peace and peace and peace and peace and blessings to y'all. And yeah, if you need anything, please comment below. Please hit the subscribe button. I would love to hear from you. Maybe even if you have a poverty story that you want to share. Cause yeah, going from poverty to wealth, that's like the real code of it right there. I can't even stress you. A lot of people are not realizing that they need to be free. They so need to be free and be delivered from certain programming that they're used to. So that this kicks it off. The work I do kicks it off, and then you continue to do your work. Okay. So I love y'all. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Peace and blessings. Bye.